G'day. 4GC Fantasy Football. Alright, Standard League mock. I've decided I would have a go from the 8th position. Maybe help some guys out there if they want a bit of advice. I think I'm drafting 5th this season. So we're going to have a crack from 8th. And I'm actually going to draft properly. I'm going to actually draft a team. So no trying stuff. I'm just going to follow the board and how it falls. And this is what I would do if I was in 8th. Remembering you can always have a set plan, but yeah, that's not the best way to draft. Have a good rough idea. Have your guys marked out where they should be, so you're not reaching too far, and just see how the board goes. So let's go from the 8th spot. All right. Oh, Henry. There's a shocker mock for you. That's why we just use mocks as a good rough idea, like practice. Oh, switched on there. Oh, Cook at the okay. Well, it's not going to happen, I doubt. But I can tell you right now that if the board fell that way, Cook's mine. So, in that area, around the few guys around Cook and stuff like that, you've got to have, if you've got your favourites who you're high on, if you really like Harris, then you should take Harris, not Cook, or Chase, so on. Just don't go reaching way too far. It wouldn't have been good for me to take Tyreek Hill at the 8th spot. It definitely would have been better to wait and see if he came back around. He went once before, but you don't want to reach. That's not a good way to build your team. All right, so it's got Kelsey. Oh, I don't know. Let's have a look. Sticky beat down. I have to be honest. CD Lamb stands out. I thought he might have went a touch earlier. I'll have Lamb. Considering it's 3 wide receivers, get a wide receiver fairly early. All right, what has happened? Let's have a sticky. Paddy and Herbert's still there. Touch too early for me. RB. Oh, there's still a few there. And this is where you start looking. If you look down that list of RBs just here, and then you see there's going to be 8 picks before it comes back. If everyone went a running back, go over to wide receiver and have a look. I think I would. Or George Kittle, maybe. I think RBs are fine. I think I would take. Oh, Scary or Pittman? We'll go Terry. Just signed a new contract. Why not? All right. So let's see if one of the RBs I might have liked has come back around. I think so. Yeah, I would like Jacobs. Even Blair. But if you're looking at this, it would depend if any of these guys here, if you were higher on them. And if you weren't sure and you were stuck, then you would just take the next RB. That's what I would. So I know I've put in. Oh, we should switch it over here. Here we go. So I've got my RBs in. I've got 2 very good wide receivers. So that's cool. Now we can start to have a sticky. So now you can really start to think about guys you personally like. Oh. Sutton. All right. So if I take an RB, he's going to be my flex. Actually, I'd like to Well, would I? I would, but I like Joey Burrow. So if you liked Joey Burrow, then I would take him there. Little bit of a drop off after him. Back to all. Oh, Hilaire came back around. Oh, I think it's going to have to be my flex. Wide receivers are getting thin. Oh, tight ends. I think we're definitely going to wait and flash on someone for tight end. A few have gone, so it might go quiet for a little bit, hopefully. It's so hard. See, this is where you're reading the board. And for me, Cooks would be awesome as my third, though. Don't need to look at quarterback. Now, for me personally, here's a tip. I drafted Joey Burrow. Do not draft another quarterback. That's my tip. Stream. You want a quarterback to play on your bye week. Now, if you pick someone down lower, say you get Trey Lance and you want to take Justin Fields or something as well, that's now where, you're taking a bit of a shot. Which one's going to do better? Fair enough. But when you get a quarterback up here this good, you don't want to get another one. You're better off drafting some other position and someone that might be, because dudes on the bench don't play. You don't get any points for them. So anyway, I've said it enough. I would take Clyde Edwards-Hilaire, and he would be my flex. Because I do not want to be picking players to stick on my bench. Not right now. Now, we need to move this down so we can see. Alright, so we'll just flick back up. Quarterback, done. Forget about quarterback. My RBs are definitely locked in, and I've got Hilaire as my flex. So if something happened to Cook or Travis, I could easily move Hilaire up and hopefully have someone else that will jump into flex to be pretty good. So looking at that, obviously you want to keep an eye on a tight end and another wide receiver. So if we take a look at the whole list, they've got Burks. And in this case, I'm actually going to be totally honest, but I would not draft Burks. Definitely not there. And not over Gabe. No way. So we're not looking at quarterback, so we can just completely forget about that. Look at RB. Starter right there. Addison will be okay too. Penny. There's a few, but look, as I said, we got Cook, Travis, and Hilaire. So we're pretty covered. We could probably just take a shot at a rookie or something later on. So considering we only have 2 wide receivers, we should be grabbing a few wide receivers. Tight end, let's look. There's only 8 picks till it comes back around. Goddard's okay. Knox is okay. Ertz is okay. Frymuth, I like him though. Koseki maybe. Komet. Irv Smith. Then it's real flyers. Taking a real shot. But there are some dudes down the bottom that I actually don't mind. There's a few. Gronk's not playing. I'm going to wait on tight end. And I'm going to do what I should do and take Gabe. Alright. So if we get a tight end on this next pick, our team is, and no tight ends went. So that kind of sent me a huge message, didn't it? Because just another thing, while I'm drafting, I'm constantly looking back to remind myself what players I've got on what team, because I do not want to be doubling up too much. You can get, if you can get Joe Burrow and T Higgins, that's awesome. Things like that, but yeah, you do not want to be piling up with players from the same team. So keep an eye out on that. but we'll take Dallas. That's not bad. So our team is done. Really, we have it. That's the starting team we would definitely start with. Now, if we look at our team now, our top pick was Dalvin Cook. So one thing I would keep in the back of my mind is I would be looking at maybe handcuffing Cook. Now, my personal opinion, only do it for RBs and only do it for like the top 5 guys. That's it. And their backup has to be pretty good. So otherwise you start to get into a committee and then it just becomes a waste. So whenever I do draft Dalvin Cook, I usually try to get Alexander Matheson, but I will also try not to reach for him because it's nice to have the handcuff, but yeah, I don't believe in reaching too far. So I know that currently right now I'm weaker at wide receiver. So my quarterback I'm fine with, my tight end I'm fine with. My RB's very good. Lamb, Scary Terry, and Gabe. So they're my starters. So I would personally right now try to strengthen, and I would also like to take a bit of a shot because what would be nice is Robert Woods coming off a ACL is an awesome player. He's going to be good. He's going to get heaps of targets, so he's going to be a good steady player, but I don't need a steady player on the bench. I would like to have someone who could possibly push up and, move Gabe out of my starting lineup, something like that. So when you get down to, what are we at, the 9th round, this is when you can start to look down a little bit. So, all right, where can we go off? Geez, they paid a lot of money for Kirk, didn't they? Going to be number 1. I'm going to take a shot. And that's the kind of stuff you want to do. Could have taken Tony, Claypool. Was a little bit far. Oh, he came back around too. Okay. See, I personally would like to take a shot on. Let me double check my team. Christian Watson. It'd be a fluke. You never know. Maybe him and Rogers. Did see a little bit of him in training camp. He looks good. So, Matheson's gone. I didn't really want to grab him right there, so I can handle that. Grabbed a couple of wide receivers. Always good to make sure you go and check. Now remember, in a real draft, you'll only have 90 seconds, so you need to go quick. But since I'm doing the video, I thought I'd make it a bit easier on myself. But if you really want to get into this, you should have cheat sheets. So you should have a list of the rankings in front of you on paper. Quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. And then you cross them off as they go. And I can guarantee you that it makes a world of difference. I don't think I would draft without having my sheets in front of me. I've always felt happy at the end of my drafts when doing that. The first time around, no, not at all. All right, so I guess it's just you are looking for guys you like and someone you think can step up and take it. And I mean, why not take a shot? I mean, he's supposed to be their number 1, and that's what I want. Someone that can. Don't always want safe. So as you know, I will not grab another quarterback and I will not grab another tight end. I want people on the bench that have the possibility to improve my team. So there are some very few players like Kareem Hunt. Even though he's behind Chubb, he still want him. He's still good even when Chubb's playing. So you're gonna have those types. Once you get to taking a shot at RBs down lower, my advice would be look for pass catching backs. Although there's not much laying around at all. So this is where you gotta try and find. Here you go, Khalil Herbert. If anything happens to Montgomery, Herbert will step in, and he should do pretty good. And he will get a little bit of he'll get a little bit of time during the season, even while Montgomery's playing. So you got little things like that. Wide receiver, anyone stands out? There is, but might come back around. So let's do it. Let's take Herbert. Stop saying wow at me. It always says wow if you don't pick the next top one. I'll give you wow. I got 3 championship rings. And no, he didn't come back. Oh, I was looking at Shark because actually, there you go. I mean, this dude easily should be the number 1 for the Pats, shouldn't he? He's a very good player. And that's someone I would grab. Hey, you could take him Talbot. Talbot's going to start off too. Pierce. Some good ones down here now. And same thing again. Now you really don't want to worry about the ADP. You want to look down. Is this dude right behind Henry? He is, isn't he? I'm sorry. Oh, not on the depth chart, he's not. He's third. Yeah, look for little things like that. If you have especially that's why Kareem Hunt's so good, because if Chubb goes down, the Browns are a very good running. So wide receiver. Well, I actually said it and he's still up there. So I'll put Alec in. And that's usually, now, as I said, I've won 3 times. I've won Division 2 and I've won Division 1. I've also won Keeper. There's my third. But this is usually how I draft. So that is my tip out there. And that is, I'll be honest, but I like that too. See, again, if I'm drafting for real, like this, I'm usually always fairly happy with my team because that is the tactic that I use. Now, looking at this here, let's say Watson does nothing. Well, then during the season I can get rid of him, pick up a tight end for when I need to at the right time, for when I need to cover my tight end in a bye. Same with the quarterback. So you actually always want someone here that you are prepared to get rid of because you need, so you can move them in. So Joey Burrow is going to miss, barring injury, touch wood, fingers crossed, because I don't want to see any of them go down, because that just sucks for fantasy football. But yeah, let's. Oh, doesn't show us the list, does it? Okay, hold on, yes. Just curious to see. A lot of people have, like down here, Justin Fields and Matt Ryan. That's okay, but see, I wouldn't have, there's no way I would have taken Cousins if I had Allen. That just feels like a completely wasted bench spot. So what are you going to do? Just leave Cousins there until, I mean, if put it this way, if one of your big players goes out, that's it's just bad luck. So, trying to find a replacement is it's looking here. I still think too many quarterbacks have gone, which normally during the season, you'll always find a few quarterbacks sitting on the waivers where you can. It's always happened for me. I've always been able to pick up a quarterback and stick him in for that 1 week. So I actually believe that you can do well, because I'm pretty sure I drafted someone 1 year, and that quarterback just wasn't doing it any good. So I just constantly was streaming quarterback, and I think you can do well going through the season streaming quarterback. I mean, yeah, guys like Fitz, having some awesome weeks and stuff like that. But yeah, you do need to pick the right week though. But I guess that's fantasy football, isn't it? All right, so that's from 8th. Team Burrow, Cook, Travis Etienne, Lamb, Scary, Davis. I mean, Travis and Hilaire should, because this is half PPR. So your pass catching backs usually are pretty good in this league. So I think Travis and Hilaire will do all right. And there we go. So remember that week 1, you're going to, the starters you draft, you're more than likely going to play them, barring injuries or anything like that. So really think carefully about your bench and who you're putting on there. All right, too easy.